Hi everyone, I'm Randy. This is Tucson, Arizona. Hope everyone's doing all right tonight. Today, whenever you're watching this, time of filming, it's night. Sitting here working on some RCs because that's kind of how I spend my free time is in my favorite hobby. And as I'm working on my newest Creighton, I'm sitting here thinking about all these conversations I've been having online with people in the comment sections of all kinds of different people's videos because I follow a lot of RC shows, channels. So I would like to talk about the curiosity that is brand loyalty. Why is the Traxxas versus Arrma like so contentious? I have a little bit of everything. I have a lot of Traxxas, but I have a little bit of everything else, and they're all awesome. I love the hobby. I love all aspects of the hobby. I've got boats, I've got planes, I've got crawlers, I've got bashers, I've got racers, I've got stadiums. I have had drags. I think I might get back into some drags because I think they're really cool. And lately I've been getting into drifters. Thinking about building a drift car. So, what the hell, man? Like, for real. I've gotten into comments. I've lost subs over this too. And I'm a small channel and I'm very happy to be finally hit triple digits. It's amazing. I've been wanting to do a video for it, but life has gotten hectic lately. But seriously, I've lost subs over this exact topic. I don't trash any brands. I like them all. Again, I like them all. I have zero history with Team Corrali or Curly or however the hell you pronounce that company. I don't have any friends that have them. I've got zero history with them. Back in the day, like 2004 or 5, no, maybe it wasn't quite that early. Yeah, maybe like 05, 06 was when I first started seeing YouTube videos of Savages, and I've always wanted a Savage. I've never had an opportunity to get one. I buy most of my stuff used. I don't really go spend the big dollars on brand new trucks. I bought a few smaller ones brand new, but none of the big trucks. And Savages were the first ones I remember seeing just getting stupid air. Like there was a dude back in, I want to say like 05, 06 era, somewhere in there. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I don't know exactly what year that car, the Savage came out. But I know it was somewhere right around that time that I saw a dude with a Savage that cleared a house. Like, standard peaked single story home. He had a dirt jump and just sent it and cleared a house. And that was just insane to me. And from there, I became like just a basher guy through and through. And like I said, I love everything, but bashers, I mean, they're tanks, man. They just take a beating and just keep going. But I don't have brand loyalty. I kind of felt like I did for a while with Traxxas because I own so many, but they're everywhere. You can pick them up dirt cheap on Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, any of those, secondhand sites. You can pick them up dirt cheap. They're everywhere. So I own lots of them. I got into the stadium trucks because my oldest son, got to the point where he had the ability to control an RC. A lot of kids, if you've ever been around a kid with an RC, they just do this. They don't really get this concept. But both of my boys were like old enough and understood how to do all that pretty well. So I got my youngest son a Stampede and I got my oldest son a brand new Slash. The first two brand new RTRs I've ever bought. I grew up on the Tamiya series of cars. My dad's been doing this since like, I don't know, the early 80s. So I grew up watching him build cars, like building the Grasshopper, building the Hot Shot, like building those cars and then ripping them around. I think he had one called like the Midnight Pumpkin or something like that. Something to do with pumpkin, or maybe it was just a pumpkin orange in my memories. Like these are like when I was like 4 years old kind of memories. But I grew up on the build kits. I still have a few. I have a Hot Shot 2 I've never built. I have a Hot Shot 2 that's mostly built, but it needs a few things. And then I've got my dad's old collection that eventually I'll rebuild those and give them back to him. Because they're really cool and they're a big, piece of history. And it's really cool to see guys getting into the hobby and building these old cars, these old model cars. It's awesome. But I've gotten into, I know I digress a lot, but I got into a conversation with a guy that I started following, and I liked what he was doing. He's sending big air, and he's all Arrma stuff, right? He's just getting huge air. And so we start like conversations back and forth or whatever. He found out I had a channel. He started following me. And then in a different conversation on somebody else's channel, it's not my channel, not his channel, somebody else's channel, there was a conversation going back and forth. And none of it was like art, none of it was like mean internet conversation. Like it was normal conversation. Like pretty reserved, pretty respectful kind of stuff, just talking about different brands. And clearly something I said pissed that other dude off, and he unsubbed me like that, like immediately. And I was like, okay, interesting. And so then I get into another comment somewhere else on someone else's channel, and he's also in there, and he's using every $3 word you can think of. Like, I don't know if he truly is an intelligent person or if he's just trying to argue using big words to sound intelligent, but he just got super like shitty and argumentative with me and someone else's channel. So I unfollowed from him, and I don't really like unsubscribe from anybody generally. You have to say some pretty gnarly stuff that I like vehemently disagree with, like as a person, to unsub from you. So I'm like, well, this dude's kind of crazy. So then recently I got into someone else's video, and the same guy that unsubbed for me, that clearly doesn't like me. And this is like my first like full size video, however long this video will be, about RCs. I just do RC shorts. It's all I've done so far because I haven't had time in like a month to do an actual video. So he makes a comment about, there was some other video that the guy did a poll, and it was, what's the best brand out there? And it's like Traxxas, Arrma, what was the other brand? There was one more brand, and then it just said other. So I get into that comment section. I was like, oh, this ought to be good because the Traxxas Arrma stuff is insane. And like hearing Traxxas fanboy and Arrma fanboy, like as a comment, or reading that rather, is always hilarious to me. Because if I call someone an Arrma fanboy, like they're literally being that. They're all Arrma and nothing else. And I'm like, well, you're just an Arrma fanboy. Like, you're going to say nothing about Arrma is bad ever. And they're like, well, if you're using the term fanboy, then you're just a fanboy of something else. I was like, actually, as a matter of fact, I own a little bit of everything, dude. Like, I like it all. And I'm willing to admit when something's got flaws. Like, I've slowly been finding a few flaws with the Creighton, but I still freaking love the Creighton. I love the Creighton so much I now have 2 of them. And I'm thinking about cloning an 8S EXB. Like, I do love the Creighton. I'm not a big fan of a few of their other trucks. I think they've got weaknesses. I have found a few weaknesses with the Creighton. The ones I own are 2 different versions, so I've sussed out some weaknesses for each one. Everything's got weaknesses, especially if you're sending big air at high speed. Things are going to break. So Traxxas has its flaws, like as a truck and as a company. And so this dude made a comment about Arrma being the best. And the first thing you have to do with a Traxxas is rip all this stuff out and put all this Arrma parts in it. And so I'm like, well, wait a minute, you own a ton of Traxxas trucks. So I was like, hey man, I agree. Traxxas electronics are not the best. Like, they're the worst. They just are. Their ESCs die all the time. Their motors are fine, but their ESCs are trash. Like, they die all the time. So a lot of my trucks aren't running Traxxas ESCs anymore. Most of them are still running Traxxas motors, but I got Hobby Wing ESCs. I've got Spectrum ESCs. So, and then a couple of my other like less expensive builds have like, non-name ESCs, and they've worked just fine. But I'm like, yeah, man, I agree. Traxxas electronics are the worst. Spectrum is right up there with the best because it's always, Hobby Wing and Spectrum. They're kind of tied. I love them both. They're both great. But I was like, but dude, where would Arrma be if it wasn't for Spectrum Electronics? Arrma doesn't own Spectrum. They don't. And Spectrum doesn't own Arrma. They're both owned by the same umbrella corporation. So if one company owns all of the major competition against Traxxas, and because the one company bought Spectrum and they bought Losi and they bought Arrma and they bought Team Associated, so the one company owns all these other brands, well, of course they've got a lot of like ammo in the pocket, like they're the only company out there that can compete because they own so many other brands. But if it wasn't for the Spectrum Electronics, where would Arrma be? And he goes, well, it's just a poor argument. And then like this long ass diatribe of nonsense. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not a poor argument. It's a valid argument. It's one you don't like, but it's still a valid argument. Where would they be if their electronics were shit? Traxxas, their major flaw is their electronics, but you know what? They own their electronics. It's their electronics in their truck. Arrma is using a sister company's electronics in their trucks. Like it's still a valid argument in my mind. Like you can say that Traxxas does like shitty lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits or whatever. Okay. Like every major corporation does. Like I don't agree with what they did, but it doesn't take away from what their trucks are doing. Like the thing that they filed suit over is this suspension in the Creighton and in all these other things. Like, okay, yeah, they were the first ones to take it from an F1 from a full-size real car and put it in their thing. Patents are out there, man. They're a thing. Like you have to dance around patent law to do a lot of new interesting things. It's just the way the world works. You don't like that, then you don't like capitalism, I guess. Like you can complain about it and you can definitely have a sour taste in your mouth for their business practices, but their trucks are still the number one selling trucks on the market. Do they do a lot of ridiculous things? Absolutely. They keep releasing vehicles at like stupid prices. And that's the other argument I keep saying is people go, well, Traxxas is asking for all this money and it's driving the price of the market up. Like, well, it shouldn't. How about the brand that you're so loyal to keeps their prices lower? They don't. Everyone's raising their prices. You can blame Traxxas, but if it's not Traxxas doing it, then it's going to be Arrma or Team Associated. Someone's going to keep driving the price up. It's just going to happen. Now, the interesting thing is what do you blame for it? Are you going to, oh, well, it's all Trump's decisions making everything expensive. No, shit was expensive before Trump was in office, man. Sorry to say it to you. Things have been kind of crazy for a long time. And everyone's prices are going up. And I'm not trying to have a political debate, but the fact of the matter is the world is an expensive place to be. And the prices have been climbing forever. But I'm looking right here. I guess I can go right here. Camera screen. I am on Traxxas' website. $1,600 for an X-Max Ultimate is insane to me. It's bananas. Don't buy it. Like, I will never spend that money on that truck. This channel could blow up, and then I might just to do ridiculous things to it, like Kevin Talbot or some of the other big guys that just like really bash the hell out of their trucks. Same for XRT Ultimate. I have an XRT over here on the shelf. Not an Ultimate, just this guy. $1,100 XRT. I paid $600 for mine. Because $1,100 is insane to me. $6 is a bit high, but I really wanted it, so I spent $6. And then it came with aftermarket tires, which I don't like because the rims collect rocks, and it throws my entire truck out of balance. So I've got the Lewis hatchets is what I had on it. They're big, deep chevrons. but the rims kept collecting rocks, and it just throws everything out of balance, and then it runs like crap. Um, it's an awesome truck. I love it. I don't have an 8S Creighton to compare it to. I know that the XRT has a few flaws that I have sussed out of it that really bother me. So mine has a handful of upgrades in it. It's got the I was just posting about this on Bash Maps. What brand? It's not Trax. I've got a Traxxas brand Cush Drive plate, which is awesome because it came with that, and then it came with the I don't know, one of the other really good brand steering assembly, like all the steering linkage assembly, except the steering horn was still stock plastic steering horn. And the steering horn was what goes through, your servo saver goes on the end of your steering servo, goes down to a plastic arm that goes across to your steering linkage. I broke that steering horn pretty much immediately, stripped it out. I did that to 3 within, I don't know, first few days I had it. Like every time I went to go bash it, I stripped the steering horn. So I finally got an aluminum steering horn, and that's hard to find because it's not the same as the X-Max. The X-Max steering horn drops down farther, and it has 2 adjustment holes. And because the telemetry is so different between the X-Max and the XRT, I had to go out and do some machining and shave that steering horn shorter to go onto the linkage. And then that was no problem. And I went out bashing, and I broke, actually it's right here, the plastic steering rod that goes from the steering horn. I know it's kind of small, but you've got your little Heim joint piece on the inside, and then there was one on this side, and I bashed and actually split this guy open. Again, I know it's small, but so then I had to replace that with an adjustable one that will hopefully last longer. I've only taken it out once since, because the other problem I have with the XRT and the X-Max is if you use hard case batteries, they will not fit in the truck. You have to do straps. And I don't have a strap kit yet for either one of those 2 trucks. So right now I'm running on 6S for both of them. Generally, if I do 8S, I have to figure out a way to hold the batteries in. So that's kind of stupid. You have to have the soft shell batteries, which a lot of people make, but I bought like the best of the best batteries for this truck when I ordered them the day I worked out the deal with the guy to buy the truck. So these CNHLs, 120C, 8,000 milliamp hours. I did research to make sure I was buying really good batteries because this was like the most expensive truck I'd purchased to that point that I'd paid for. Paying $600 was like, well, I want the best. So I bought these. These do not fit inside the stock clamp. So now I've got to do like a $60 kit for 2 pieces of aluminum and some strap. It's annoying, but that's not Traxxas's fault. This is Traxxas's fault that they don't allow those buckets to hold hard shell batteries. But all the aftermarket aluminum Velcro mounts are freaking expensive. So that's back burner. But if you go to Arrma, $1,100 for the 1/5 8S EXB Outcast and the Creighton 8S. All $1,100. So I keep seeing this argument that I even went into Reddit and people are going, oh, well, you can get a 4S Arrma for the same cost as a 3S Traxxas. And that might be true, but when you start getting into the big boy trucks, they're all running the same price. And you can sit there and you can blame Traxxas all you want for setting the tone. Well, in my mind, if you made these trucks cheaper than Traxxas, you're going to send more people to the Arrma side to buy their trucks. And I've never had an Outcast. I know nothing about them. I'd imagine they're pretty similar to this, just bigger. Like, and that's cool. I freaking love the Kraken. I really want an 8S EXB. I want one bad. And I wish I had a friend that had one so I could do a side-by-side comparison with the XRT. See what the strengths and weaknesses are. I know a lot of people love the aluminum chassis, and that's cool. I think they're awesome. But aluminum bends, plastic flexes. So it's really, what do you want to do? If this chassis bends on a hard impact, I'm hosed. I have to buy a new like $80 chassis and then spend the 5 hours swapping everything over or longer. I don't know. I've never fully taken apart one of these trucks. I'm kind of terrified too. Let's see, 8S, so 6S. Let's see, So it's a 6S 1/8 scale truck. The max, $900 for the max is fucking bananas to me. So Sledge, that's 6S. And I believe it's the same scale, so $800 versus $700. So $100 difference. And everything I've seen on the Sledge, which I don't own, but I really want one. Wanting a Sledge really bad is what drove me to buying an e-Revo, and I love my e-Revo. But now, so $800 versus $700. I don't know anyone who owns one of these, so I don't know enough about them. But now you're within $100. So yes, more expensive. And because it's cheaper, if I only had $700 to play with plus tax, so almost $800 by the time you're done, versus $900, like, and I really wanted a 1/8 6S 4x4, sure, like that $100 is definitely going to make the difference. The 8 scale Creighton 6S 4x4, I own 2 of these, $700. I paid $250 for this guy, and I paid $500 for my V5. I think it's a V5. Forgive me, I'm still trying to get used to which versions of things are. I think this is a V1 from what I've read. And then I'm pretty certain my other one's a V5. So $700. Like, that's not cheap. But I do like this livery with the pink and blue. Looks good. I really want an infraction. But see, $700. So for 8 scale, 7 scale, 6S for both. So let's see. I mean, that's a 6S, but it's not in the same vein. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Traxxas has, other than the X01. They don't really have a street truck like that. So, I mean, you've kind of cornered the market there. I really want an infraction. Those things look freaking wicked. I have had a 6S Mojave. It did not really impress me. It's not for me. I mean, maybe if I was a stadium truck guy through and through and I was out racing stadiums, it might be awesome. But from what I understand, people kind of lean towards, I think it's the team associated truck. It's not my world. I don't know. But I had one of these and it didn't wow me. But that's 680, and then you've got the UDR. I know people go nuts for the UDR. I also wasn't impressed with the UDR. A friend of mine has that currently, unless he just traded it. And then my buddy has a Max Slash. That thing's kind of cool. I don't know that I would ever buy one, and he definitely got it a whole lot cheaper than $700 because he also buys used. But $700 for the Max Slash. And 680. So I mean, you're within a negligible amount, $20 difference. So 1/7 scale. What is the Max Slash scale? Specs. 1/8 scale. So the Max Slash is a little smaller. Now, what that does for your category in racing, I have no idea. But these are cool. They're big. I think that their body mounting and everything is really cool. My buddy's is currently got an 8S system in his, and it's stupid. It's quite the ridiculous truck. But like, there's something for everyone. But the prices are all close. So the Typhon, I have the Grom, which made me really want this, the 186S. Like, I'm a big fan of the Typhon, but the Grom, at least the one I have, I've got a V1. It's one of the ones I bought brand new. It has in the front and rear diffs, its main gear is plastic, but all of its planetaries are metal. So I destroyed the front and rear diffs like right away because you're cooking, and I was bashing the hell out of this thing just on 2S. I mean, they're fast as hell on 2S. My buddy now has one on 3S, and it is stupid. The difference, the jump from 2S to 3S, plus he's got a little bit more KV in his motor. That thing is insane. It's almost uncontrollable. But he's running a Castle system in it. But it just shocked me, like having, what is bouncing around on this? Shock mount. Having a center gear the cone gear being plastic and having all your other gears metal is stupid because you're going to strip them out pretty quick and then your truck is effectively useless. So I swapped out front and rear diffs with all metal internal gears, and then I did metal drive shafts because I kept breaking drive shafts too. So now the thing's bulletproof, and I love every second of it. It's a fun little ripper. So I want a full size one. So $700 for the Typhon. Now, what's that? I guess the Jado would probably be the closest thing comparable, but it's only 4S for $550, and that's 700. 6S 1/8 scale. Like, there's not an equal. I'm trying to be as like equal as possible, back and forth. So like the Max, $600, and that would be comparable to either the Creighton or the Notorious. I think they've got a 4S Notorious, don't they? Still learning. Anyways, I think the brand loyalty thing is kind of crazy. I don't understand it. The arguments are always annoying. And so far, it's always Arrma guys bashing on Traxxas. Now, that tells me one of two things. Either you've never ran a Traxxas or owned a Traxxas, you really are only going off of what other people are saying, or you are like in love with one truck that you have and you're unwilling to believe that anything else could be like comparable or as good. Because all the people I hang out with have everything. They don't stick to one thing. Like, if it's fast, if it's strong, they want it. They don't really care. Like, my buddy right now is actively after a big rock. I don't know why, but he is. I personally don't think the look of them is very appealing. That's just me. But I do, however, really like the Infraction. I want one bad. I think they look good, and from every video I've ever watched, they perform. Which is funny because my roads suck where I live. Like, they're all just potholed and chingered up. So I'd have to take it somewhere to run it, or just risk bashing the crap out of it on my screwed up roads. But the Creightons are amazing. I love them. I've broken very few things on each one. And when they do break, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that absolutely, I can't believe it survived that so many times before it broke. But like this today, I broke some things, so it sucks I didn't get to make any video with it. I did a little bashing, testing out some jumps, and started acting weird. And then I realized that the open gear concept chewed through one of the main battery cables. So that sucked. Fortunately, I didn't nuke anything, but having the open gear has always worried me on the Creighton. Under the chassis, the gear's exposed. Inside, the gear's partially exposed. Like, you can chew things up. You get rocks in there, you're going to start destroying gears, and that sucks. I've done it with my first one, the V5. Like, everything's got their own little weaknesses. It's a matter of what can you live with. But I'd really love to know why, if you've been watching this and you hate Traxxas, I'd love to hear why. I mean, I don't really care. Like, if you hate them, you hate them. That's your business. It's your wallet. Like, hate whatever you want, love whatever you want. I'm just curious because I don't hear anyone actually having the conversation. It seems like clickbait, like when that guy circling back to putting up his poll. I commented in there like, dude, the something similar to like the brand loyalty when you ask Traxxas versus Arrma brings like the crazy out in people, and he's like, yeah, it absolutely does. Like, bringing up those two names really is a hot button. I'm like, yeah, why? Like, is it guys that have only ever bought one brand and they love it so much that they just automatically make a lot of assumptions about another brand? Because I know I certainly did. Like, by the time I got the Creighton, I already had a ton of Traxxas and had for years. And it wasn't because I was avoiding other things. It was just, I just kind of kept like, oh, that truck looks really cool. Oh, it's got this and this and this. Yeah, buy it. So, but it wasn't like I will only ever buy Traxxas. I just had never really seen a Creighton for sale. I'd watched tons of videos, thought they were awesome. But it wasn't until my buddy go, hey, man, I'm picking up a Creighton. I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to check it out. If it's awesome, I'm going to buy one. And the very next day, I bought that one from him. He drove it once. And he's like, it's too big for me. And then sold it to me. And now we call it Old Reliable. If you go on Bash Maps, you can find me under the same name at Tucson, Arizona. And I've been slowly uploading my trucks to my garage on there so you can start to see some of them. I think I've only gotten like 10 or 11 of them uploaded so far. I've got a lot more to go. And I'm constantly getting more. But yeah, like I just look for what something has. And if it has features I really want, then I buy it. And in the case of the Creighton, if it's really amazing and I really fall in love with it, I buy another one. So yeah, like I don't get it. I would love some clarification. Please comment. Please get in there. Try not to be dicks to each other. I'm certainly not going to like argue with you if you tell me that Traxxas are all terrible and they're a terrible company or whatever. Like, I just want to know, what do you love either about the brand or about certain models? Because again, I have lots of different ones. I like something different about each and every one of them. And I want to continue accruing more. I would love this channel to get big enough to support my hobby addiction. But that's probably going to take a while. But yeah, like, I want to get more Creightons. I would like to get, a few other ones. I recently had the opportunity to get my hands on a couple of gas-powered Losies that were like built by Losi in the factory, like designed for racing. They built it for their team racing, and my buddy wound up with it. And it was really cool, but I'm not a gas guy. Like, gas is cool, and I'm certainly not trashing gas, so please don't get into comments thinking I am. They sound amazing. I'm a gearhead. I love it. I don't want to spend the time rejugging and tuning and all that. My ex-brother-in-law was real big into the gas engines, and I used to help him build stuff all the time. I don't want to do that. It's just not for me. They're still awesome. They still sound great, and I'd love to see some out in the wild. But it's not for me. But tell me, like, why things are your favorite. Why things are things that you hate. Like, give me reasons. I'd love to kind of dive into this and understand. And don't just say it's about, oh, well, this is so much cheaper. If you're buying used, everything's cheaper. So I think that's kind of I don't know. You can make the point. I think it's kind of a boring point because I don't buy anything new. I do believe that Traxxas is really cooking themselves making all these new expensive releases. You can absolutely say that because I will agree with you 100%. This newest one here, I'll cut back to this. This newest ridiculous thing, I haven't been on their website since they released it, so I don't know where it is. Showroom, rally cars. There it is. The Mini Rally VXL Ford RS 200. Giddy up, partner. $430 for a mini rally car. What scale is this? Mini, so that means it must be the 16th scale, which I own several 16th scales. They're super fun, especially inside. $430 though. That's insane to me. Like, what are you thinking? 3S brushless, that's cool. But now let's go back to Arrma. Let's go. Oh yeah, before I was looking at only 6S and 8S. Nope, come on. Just give me all your trucks. I know people are having fun with the Quakes. I've never driven one. But for that price point, like that's for entry level stuff, that's great. Everyone I've talked to says the Gorgon brakes a lot. Those are those little guys. Those are the little guys. Let's see. Do they have the Mojave? These things are freaking awesome. My buddy has one right now. The mini Mojave, the Grom, I do like that. I did not like the 6S. I think it just wasn't for me. I got no thrills out of it. But the mini, the little Grom, my buddy's running that on 3S right now, and it's stupid. Like it's stupid fast. So I'm not mad at it. For me, the little guy inside and all the realism stuff is kind of It doesn't thrill me at all. But those bodies are super rigid and reinforced, so they can definitely take a beating. My Typhon Grom is like the coolest car ever. I love it. It's so much fun. But let's see. We're getting into bigger trucks now. 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 114, 116. I mean, all their little trucks are under $200 or around. This Vortex is kind of pricey, and the Mojave is kind of pricey. So I guess the Mojave would be the closest thing at $270, which is a bit high because I paid like just under $200, I think. I think it was like $150 for my Typhon Grom. But the modern ones, I think, have the ability to go 3S, if I'm not mistaken, and mine's simply a 2S. So I paid like $150 or $160 for it, I think. But this guy, the 1/16th Mojave, that's an off-road trophy truck. So for $270 versus this guy for $430. Like 55 plus. What does this guy say? Does it have a speed? I think they just say 35 plus on the box, if I remember right. Do you not have a picture of the box? Key features. Go away. I don't want whatever you are. Key features. 2S, 3S. Cool. What's the speed? BLX can unleash thrilling speeds that reach 50 miles per hour or more. So does it say 50 plus? So BLX. Yep, 50 plus right on the box. This says 55 plus. If that's true, big grain of salt there. I don't think I've ever had a truck out of the box do what it said it would do. I believe it could hit 45 no problem, and 50 with the speed gear probably. 3S speed gear, you're probably hitting like 52, 53. I doubt you're doing over 55. Could be wrong. Haven't seen one. Just history says this is kind of some bullshit. Kind of like when you go buy a brand new truck from the dealership and they say its tow rating is this. Yeah, they're overselling it. I guarantee it. But $430 for a mini versus, what did I say here? $270. So out the door, a little over $315 or so in the States. You're not you're $430. And what's included? Your little Ford, which I'm not a Ford guy. If they introduced a Lancia Delta Integrale, I would be searching for one of these on the used market. I know that for sure. Let's see. Clipless. Floridian. TQI, quick start guide, optional pinion gear. There's your speed gear, high quality maintenance tools. Maybe. I do like the tools that came with my Grom. Batteries, charger. Okay, that's what you'll need. Charging accessories, power adapter. So it's going to be one of those stupid little USB-C plugs. 2 amp USB-C charger. And a 2-cell battery. So they can even option you with a 3S battery. Which, I mean, no one does, but it's kind of annoying. I mean, even if you go over here to the Groms, they're not giving you a 3S battery in the box. The Mojave Grom. Spectrum. 4500 kV motor. That's pretty sweet. 2-channel transmitter. Metal geared servo. Smart 14 2S. Yeah, see, they send you with the 2S also. And then the same little silly USB-C port. Then the hex wrench. I do like those hex wrenches. If it's the same one that came with my Typhon, if that hasn't changed, I do like that little pocket tool. But yeah, they both only come with a 2S battery. 430 is insane. And I even commented this on the Traxxas video when Traxxas released this a couple days ago. Their little ad for it came up in shorts, and I was like, WTF are you thinking, dude? Like 430? People will buy this. Absolutely. But I don't know any of those people. Like, this is insane to me. You know, for a little bitty car. Like, that's kind of nuts. I do want one of these drags. The drag / Chevy. My buddy has one, and it's gorgeous. And he has his clocked at, I think, 70 miles an hour or something stupid like that. Like, GPS clocked it. And an XL1 would be really cool. I have no place to run something like that, but that would be really rad. I do like the Fortec. So, I don't know, got one of those in the stable. It's a fun car. I like it a lot. And I'm thinking about picking up I want to say, MTX is a speaker. Why do I keep thinking MTX? What's the drift car? RC drift cars. Like brands, I guess. RMX. I don't know why I was thinking about MTX, the speakers, but that's where my mind was going. The RMX. There's an RMX right now that, let's see, other notable brands include HPI Racing, Tamiya, and Red Cat. And I've seen some cool Red Cats. I've never been around one. But yeah, the RMX. I'm thinking about, there's an RMX right now I'm thinking about picking up, and I'm probably going to, because drifting is a lot of fun. And me and my buddy have been talking about building drift cars, and he now has one of these guys. And that little thing is a ripper and a hell of a drifter. So I think he's done dealing with drift cars because he doesn't like that aggressive drift angle, like the steering angle on a drift car. So I think he's just going to stick to this guy. And on 3S, I have a video that eventually I'll put up as a short. It's awesome. But anyways, I didn't really plan on this video being quite this long, but I digress. Like, I kind of go to tangents. It's what I do. But yeah, if you got brand loyalty, I'd love to hear why. And if you are also confused by brand loyalty, like, leave a comment. Like, tell me what throws you off about this brand loyalty stuff, and tell me about some of the conversations you've had with people about it. And if you want to talk about something that isn't RCs but still brand loyal related, I mean, it's funny that I'm bringing this up and I've got Chevrolet literally tattooed down my arm. Irony's not lost on me. But when it comes to fun, a hobby, just RCs, why is it that if someone rolls up, like if I rolled up with a Creighton and it was just a bunch of Traxxas guys, like if they give me crap, Why? Like, if I see someone flying through the air, I don't care what it is. I think that is awesome. So I don't get it. Like, most of what I have was like by happenstance. I happened to have the ability to get it. It just kind of fell in my lap, kind of thing. Like, I've got friends that just buy and buy and buy, and then a couple guys do buy and resell. So like, hey man, I got this. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, and then I buy it. Like, I don't. There's only ever been a few cars I went looking for. The XRT is one of them. Like, I actively went looking for a good deal on an XRT. I always wanted the X Max. It was my dream RC, and one of my friends knew that, and I fell ass backwards into a $200 X Max. It's cost me a lot more than that to get it to where it is today. Now it's like an $800 X Max, but it's got like GPM everything, or better. Like, it's all high end parts in it now. And now I'm just waiting on shock tubes, the main inner part, because I broke that the last time I went bashing, and I don't know what happened to my package. My doorbell rang. I had an empty bag from Amazon that was supposed to have those rods in it, and the tin coated rods, and my the Amazon bag was literally empty, sealed, and there was nothing in it. So I had to go through the claim, and now my new shock parts will be here like Tuesday, and then the X Max will be back on the road, and I'll start making more videos with that. But yeah, man, I would love to have like a Notorious 8S around to compare it to, or an EXB. Although I think the EXB would be more related to the XRT. And I'm not afraid to admit that I think I would fall in love with the 8S EXB Creighton more than the XRT. And the XRT is awesome. I love it. But I would not be surprised with how much I love the Creighton that 8S Creighton would kind of steal the thunder for me. And then I posted a comment. I posted a picture of my XRT on Bash Maps, and a dude was like, man, like, that's my favorite RC I've never owned. And he's actively building a clone EXB 8S. And I was like, well, it's ironic because you're building the car that I really want, that I think is the dream car I've never owned. Like, if I get my hands on an 8S EXB, that might be the king RC in my eyes, because the Creighton's already kind of up there. And I'm surrounded right now by like 10 or 12 or more Traxxas trucks. There are 2 Creightons in here right now, and they definitely get used more than everything else in here. So yeah, long way of saying, why do people hate Traxxas? Why do people hate Arrma? I'd love to know, because I don't get it. I don't see the hatred. I love it all. I think people are getting wrapped up in weirdness and just they're bored. They need something to hate. They need an enemy. I don't know. So let me know. I'm confused, Ed, as to why anyone would hate any RCs. I think they're all awesome. Even the cheap little Walmart ones can be fun. Whatever makes you smile, man, makes you smile. Like, why are we freaking out about simple stuff with strangers online that like something different than us? It's weird. Like, why would you unsubscribe from somebody for that? I don't understand. Like, all right, well, whatever. I have bought more Arrmas since you unsubscribed, bro. All right, man. Well, thanks for hanging out. If you made it this far, please like, share, subscribe, or thumbs down. Whatever you want to do. Tell me I'm ugly and fat and that you hate my voice. I don't care. Say whatever you want to say. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Randy, Tucson, Arizona. Peace.